Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and I have a short video planned for you guys today on an article that many of you guys have been sending me. I've been doing a little bit of research on this. Big time car news coming down from Delorean of all people. Yes, Back to the Future. And it is literally Back to the Future because we have not seen anything come down the pipe from Delorean in 40 years or so. So all of a sudden, Delorean is coming back to the car market. This is a company from Northern Ireland of all places, and they have a brand new car that's coming out. So we're going to talk about that today. If you're new to my channel, please do me a big gigantic favor. There's a subscribe button right down here in the corner. If you watch my content, if you enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button. It really does help the channel. I have so many great things to bring you this year. It's going to be a ton of fun, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
The first thing I want to talk about is really what put Delorean on the map in the first place. And whenever I think of Delorean, probably when you guys think of Delorean, if you know Delorean at all, and this may be kind of before some of y'all's time, but it is what it is. This thing was actually made famous by being in the movies, the Back to the Future movies with Michael J. Fox. There were several of those, and why they chose a DeLorean of all things is absolutely beyond me. I actually wrote some things down about the DeLorean, the DMC 12 is what it was actually initially called, and they made this back in like 1981 to 1983. And as I've already alluded to many times, the cars back in the 80s, they pretty much sucked. and this thing was no exception. This really wasn't a great car. Like I said, it just kind of got all this fame because it was in the Back to the Future movies. Now, I want to give you some stats on this car just really quick. Now, this was a rear engine car. So the engine, obviously, behind you. 0 to 60 on this particular car was a 10.5, which you know what? That's pretty slow. Even by that standard, I think it was pretty slow. The thing made 130 horsepower with it was a V6 in that, 2.8 liter V6. Now, they only made like 8,583 units of this. They actually made 100 gold-plated units. I actually found that out. Who'd have thought? The 24-karat gold-plated units, pretty expensive back in the day. And, there was really nothing crazy. This car was not really all that great, even back in the day. And it's kind of cool if you ever see a DeLorean, whether it's in like a museum or you actually see, I did see one on the street about a year ago. I have no idea how that happened, but it still stands out, and everybody just knows it as the Back to the Future car. And DeLorean, they've got all sorts of things happening behind the scenes as they try and release a brand new car. So a couple of interesting things about DeLorean when I actually did my research on this. So a lot of things happening behind the scenes here, and I will freely admit that this was really never even on my radar. Another DeLorean, I thought this thing was most definitely in the past and we would never see anything from DeLorean ever again. I mean, I don't really think of Northern Ireland when it comes to car companies, and so it's just a very different thing altogether. It seems that in 1982, they actually filed for bankruptcy. So the movie Back to the Future didn't actually come out until, I want to say, like 1985. So several years later. That may have changed their fate a little bit. I mentioned they didn't really make that many units, and obviously they didn't really sell. The car wasn't really all that fast, but had the movie come out, it probably would have reinvigorated some interest in that car. But it looks like in 1985, they actually, they were repurchased, but it was more of a mail order company. It was called DeLorean 1. And then all the way in 1995, so much, much later, they switched the name back to the DMC or DeLorean Motor Company. So I'm finding all this out. It is kind of interesting to think about. Now, that means they didn't really have anything to do with the actual DeLorean family anymore. So, I mean, for the DeLorean family, it made things a little bit weird because obviously this company was carrying their name, but they had nothing to do and really no say in anything. So that does make things a little bit tough. And recently we see DeLorean's daughter, the initial owner, his daughter released something, I think it was on Twitter, that she is not happy at all with the new offering from DeLorean that they've come out with. So what are they coming out with? So what do we know about this new offering from Delorean? Yeah, basically 40 years later, now all of a sudden we have a new Delorean coming down the pipe. Well, here's what we know so far. It is going to be called the Alpha 5, and it is going to be an EV, so all electric, considerably different obviously than the offering we had almost 40 years ago. And what we know is 0 to 60 will take just under 3 seconds. It's like 2.99 seconds. I guess their goal was to be faster than 3 seconds from 0 to 60, and apparently they achieved that. So obviously this is a much more capable car in terms of performance, but once again, it's an EV, which maybe not everybody likes. Also 155 mile an hour will be this top speed, probably just limited to that, as we see a lot of EVs kind of go to that, and also a 300 plus mile range. Now we don't have any indication as to what this thing is going to cost. If I was going to give you my educated guess, I'm thinking this thing may actually be a six-figure car. We already know the EVs are a little bit expensive. This is a very specialty type car company. This will not be a budget car, guys. It just won't. And who knows how many units they're actually going to make. And will we even be able to get one if you wanted one? It's probably going to be a pretty hard car to get. So that's my thought on it. A couple other things that are just important about this offering. And one of them is, you know, the parts availability on something that's basically a one-off type car. If they're only making one single car, how is it going to be for maintenance, and what's it going to be like to get parts for the thing if you need to? Plus it's an EV, which adds an extra layer of difficulty as well. So, you know, should you run out and buy one of these new DeLoreans, I mean, you just need to take into account everything I just talked about, because there may be, you know, some difficulties with it. And that is about it. Just a little bit of car news that I wanted to share with you. I just think it's really interesting. Nothing coming down the pipe from them in decades. Now all of a sudden they're going to release something new. I know they liquidated their plant back in 1983 or something. So they have a lot of work cut out for them to get this thing out by 2023 like they've said they will. Hopefully we'll see some more performance stats. We'll see pricing information pretty soon. Am I going to be one of these guys that's in a hurry to rush out and get a new DeLorean? No, I won't be doing that. Like I said, for many of the reasons that I've already listed. You guys tell me what you think about a new offering from Delorean in the comments below. Would you be interested in buying one? I'd love to hear it, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!